Ask Reddit, what's a game-changing insight your therapist casually dropped during a session that completely shifted how you see things? You're allowed to take up space. It hit me hard. I never realized how much I was shrinking myself to fit into others' expectations. A really important step for me was realizing that I'm not a person who doesn't belong causing trouble by being in everyone's way everywhere I go. I am in fact just another person going about their daily life. I have just as much right to cross the street or go to the grocery store. Oh wow, so much this. I've been in therapy for a few years, but prior to this, I found myself in lots of situations where I thought I was being in the way. A classic example is the turn lanes that can also go straight. I pull up needing to go straight, and I see the person behind me with their blinker on, and I would go ahead and turn so that they didn't have to wait longer. I didn't even realize that was an odd thing to do. I envisioned them getting more and more upset with me for being in their way, and that I needed to fix it. Something that I learned in training to become a therapist. Boundaries are for you, not for other people. So, that means you don't say, you can't do that. You have to say, if you do that, I will XXXX leave, hang up, block, tell someone else whatever. This stops the nearly impossible attempts at controlling others' behavior and gives you all the power. I was once told, it is your responsibility to communicate your boundaries and to enforce them. It is not your responsibility for how other people react to them. So when do you get a turn to be happy? Me explaining how I need to do X, Y, Z for my family so they are happy with me, made me realize my childhood was spent with me learning how to entertain and manage my parents' emotions because they were emotionally unavailable to me. It's not much, but it made my mind go blank. I had a similar family growing up. My therapist said, why not you? Why don't you get to be celebrated, encouraged, and loved? Time and energy is spent on everyone around you. They get their needs met, and their successes acknowledged. So why not you? I had a massive procrastination issue when it came to my uni assignments, to the point where I wouldn't even hand some in, but somehow always did well in group assessments. This was how that conversation went. So you struggle in lone assignments? Yes. But not in group assignments? Yes, I don't want to let my teammates down. But it's okay if you let yourself down. She said that last thing like a fact, not a question, and it really opened my eyes to how low my self-esteem was, that I saw nothing wrong with failing myself. Edit. When the therapist said that sentence above, that was the first time I'd ever heard of anyone dealing with what I was going through. I've been reading everyone's replies, and while I knew deep down I wasn't the only one who's dealt with this, I never had confirmation because no one else in my life deals with this kind of issue. All these replies have made me very teary-eyed knowing there are others that can relate. I hope you all get through it as well. This slapped me in the face. How did you get out of this pattern? Well, the root cause of my low self-esteem walked in just minutes later. This was during family therapy when we had individual sessions before a group session. During this individual session, I told the therapist that I'd recently gotten a distinction. That's what led to the above conversation, but hadn't told my parents because I felt as though they always discredited my wins. I don't think the therapist believed me, because when my parents walked in she said, "Your daughter was just telling me about the distinction she got." Zero reaction from parents. Not even a facade for a stranger. Even the therapist picked up on that and brought it up during the session. Recognizing the root of my low self-esteem helped me work on ways to build myself up, to a point where I could tell myself, I don't want to fail myself, and actually begin putting effort in. I also did other things that made me feel like I was putting effort into myself, like my physical health, and that helped boost my self-esteem too. It also helped that I changed degrees to something that was structured, so we were expected to present work at every tutorial. So I wasn't leaving things majorly until last minute like I used to. All of that forced me out of my patterns. It wasn't easy. My therapist said to me, "What would happen if you started treating yourself the way you would treat someone you love?" That simple question made me realize how hard I was on myself and how that affected everything in my life. Since then, I've tried to be more compassionate with myself, and it's completely changed the way I handle mistakes, stress, and my relationships. If I say something negative about myself, my partner says, "Don't talk about my girlfriend like that." Don't think of the relationship as over. Think of it as complete. That simple shift in perspective completely changed the way I was dealing with a tough breakup. It helped me focus on the growth and experiences I gained instead of just the ending. So powerful. Put it back on them. When someone in your life is trying to bully or change or just make your day a little more bad. Meanie, so do you like have any friends? Me, does that worry you? Just anything to put the emotion back on them, 'cause it ain't about you. People are self-involved and don't really care that much about what you do. This is in response to me feeling like I will be judged by others for everything I do and every decision I make. I later read a quote, "You are the extra is everyone else's life." If I make mundane mistakes or don't do something perfectly, people likely won't really notice, or if they don't, they probably won't think about it for very long. My therapist kept telling me to be more consistent, even if it is a little at a time each day, instead of avoiding things and trying to do it all at once. I wasn't getting the point, so one day he hit me with, "Happiness is the persistent willingness to exert some level of effort each day toward helping yourself and others." For some reason it clicked in my head, and I've never forgotten it and lived by it, and it has greatly improved my life. Edit. Grammar. Has anybody ever said anything to you that changed how you saw yourself? Feel free to share in the comments below. Please consider subscribing and liking for more daily videos.